hard to find.
Yeah.
It was the one that it's fairly recent.
Okay, well, Jimmy O here from JOBLO, and we are so happy to have this guy here. I mean, I'm happy to be at this. This is a dream come true.
Isn't it neat?
How did this happen, man?
When we were doing Reboot, right before we went on tour with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, Jordan, who runs our company, Jason's wife, she was like, it'd be nice if we could do a Mooby's like food truck, maybe at San Diego Comic-Con, or a pop-up like around the premiere. And we were like, yeah, that'd be fun, and it never came to be. Stuart, our licensing guy, the guy who's like, anytime you see somebody wearing a T-shirt, Jay and Silent Bob, he's the guy that set that up. He kept looking because he was like, I knew that it was important to you guys.
Yeah.
So he met with Derek. Derek runs and owns this place. And in this same space, Derek has done at least 4 restaurants so far. He started in Chicago when he did this Saved by the Bell pop-up called Saved by the Max, and they did the Max Cafe restaurant that was in Saved by the Bell in the real world, and it got a lot of attention, and then people were like, you should do it in LA. So Derek brought it to LA, rented out this restaurant, a closed down restaurant, because he's like, look, I need a kitchen and some space, and then I could recreate the experience. So first they did Saved by the Max here, then they did Good Burger with Kel, like from the movie and the Nickelodeon sketch from all that. Then they did Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad, and he said Bryan Cranston came in on the last day and saw the place. And so they were getting ready to do Clueless, because I think Clueless is celebrating its 25th anniversary. But I guess they decided to move into less COVID-y times.
Yeah,
rightfully so. So Derek was like, hey, we got an opening, man. What about doing Mooby's? And like I was, oh my lord, yes. Like, it's not tied to anything for us or anything, but who cares? Like, ever since I started putting it in the scripts, like since Dogma was the first movie with Mooby's in it, like I was always like, wouldn't it be great if somebody did it in real life? And people have always said, like, you have a comic book store, why not open a Mooby's in Red Bank? But I'm no restaurateur or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the fact, Derek is a restaurateur, and this is what he does. So it only lasts for like maybe 2 months.
Okay.
And then goes away. So, you know, I was like, what happens if it really takes off? He's like, that's great. They all really take off, but then we change it anyway, because that's his passion. His passion is not like, I want to do one restaurant for the rest of my life. His is like, it's an art project. So like every few months, flipping the theme to something else allows him to recreate the restaurant. You bring in a different chef, you bring in a completely different clientele, based on what the medium is. Like, you know, I would imagine, I wasn't here when they did it, but Pollos Hermanos must have been a huge hit.
Oh my God,
By the end of Breaking Bad, people were like, holy shit. Like, this wall, which is now Quick Stop, was the trailer. They had the trailer going along that wall for Breaking Bad, like the Winnebago.
Oh my God,
so he's got an art director here, Floyd, who just did a phenomenal job. I came in here before the place was Moobied out, and they completely flipped it. They got this Quick Stop Groceries and RST exterior. The good folks at Legion M and Claire had done this at the LA Comic-Con, had put up this fake Quick Stop. So we put these cats in touch with each other. So boom, they got a Quick Stop and an RST. What blew my mind is they did 2 walls from Mallrats. There's a fashionable male and a popular girl. So, you know, they got inventive and creative with it. It wasn't me down here going, you should do this and you should do this. You know, they're like, this is our world.
Wow.
We watch a movie, we take what we can from it, and we make that eatery from that movie. So I walked into this place and I was like dazzled. I was like, look at what you guys did, man. And like that giant movie on the wall, hand painted.
Oh my God.
You know, some of the stuff came like from us because we just had Mooby's in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, so we had a lot of designs handy and whatnot. But Floyd, Derek's art director, went and created a lot of stuff like by hand. The fashionable male, popular girl, there's hand-drawn signs and stuff.
Wow.
So it's dazzling to watch when someone like, you know, likes your shit so much that it inspires their shit. And at the end of the day, like it's fun. It checks a box off. Like, you know, going as far back as 1998 when we were shooting Dogma, when I was like, wouldn't it be great if somebody did a Mooby's one? They did. Like, and I got to live to see it, you know, like as opposed to being dead and somebody did it in my absence. So it's neat. It doesn't mean I'm going to be in the restaurant business. No.
What? You're not going to start with your own?
No. I'm happy to watch Derek do it and take credit, but the idea of like I've seen what he has to do, like, and it's crazy.
Well, it seems like, you know, the funny thing is the influence of your films, I've seen that exact sign on businesses because where we are in the world, it's insane.
I know, as bad as it is to, you know, recognize, deal with the fact, acknowledge, accept the fact that the world has been shut down for 3 months by, you know, a horrible disease which has killed a lot of people. All negative, nothing great about it.
No.
I am, however, like there are, you know, you look for the warm moments, the cheery moments. Seeing on Twitter a bunch of photos of restaurants with banners that say, "I assure you we're open," has, in these dark times, really done my heart good, where I feel like, oh, we mattered. Like, you know, we made an impact. Like even that was a joke from Clerks like 26 years ago.
Yeah.
For it to still have relevance enough where people are like, well, you got to hang up a sign. Let's hang that weird one from Clerks. Like, I assure you we're open is a stupid joke I wrote 26, maybe 27 years ago. And to see people still telling that joke now, like, oh, it makes me feel like, hey, I did it. I mattered. I made an impact. Now I could die.
Yeah. Now, you just got off the reboot. What was that experience like? I mean,
amazing.
Amazing movie, by the way. You know how much I loved it.
I know you liked it. Me and you both.
Yeah.
It was such a great tour, man. Like every night was bliss. It was like going to a church where you were both the priest and Jesus at the same time. You were the celebrant and you were being celebrated. And you were surrounded by the faithful, 1,000 to 1,500 people a night who weren't just people who are like, I like movies. People who are like, I love these fucking movies.
Yeah.
So every joke lands like in this unbelievable way where you feel like you're the smartest fucking person in the world. You're like, oh my God. But it's the reality in that room because that room is packed with Jay and Silent Bob fans, View Askew fans. If we went in front of 1,500 normal people just looking for a good time at the movies, a lot of them be lost at that movie going, what? Why is everyone applauding? Who are these fuckers? Why does everybody know each other? So on that level alone, we were breathing rarefied air.
Yeah.
On top of that, like add to it every night, 1,000, 1,500 people who are all essentially going, your ideas are good. So I felt amazing all the time. I guarantee you it's going to be years if we ever see that again. We're going to need a vaccine before 1,000, 1,500 people are going to be willing to get into a closed, confined space. So if that's it for a while, you know, they're going to let us perform publicly again, but it's going to be drastically reduced numbers. If that's the last time I see 1,000, 1,500 people a night for a while, I got warm memories that'll keep me company for a long, long time. That tour was absolutely one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I've had a lucky life where I've had some cool things to do, but the tour it's one thing making the movie of your dreams, and that's what Reboot was. It's another thing where you get to spend that much quality time with it night after night. If we just put the movie out in theaters, you know, it's out of my life and I'm on to the next thing.
Absolutely.
But when you're taking it from town to town, like Reboot never ended for me. Like Ben Gleib's here, and I was telling him before, 65 cities. He's got a piece in the Chronicon where Jay's like, hey, he looks for a gun. He's like, I'm killing time until I get close to the guy with the big fucking gun. And he's like, now. And so Ben throws him the gun. And then for 65 shows, Jay's like, this gun is fake. And for all those shows, Gleib.
Why would it be real?
That's an ad-libbed line from Gleib, and he crushed it on set.
Thank you.
And he performed it for you right here. So thank you for that. We paid for the last one. I was glad. Thank God we plied him with liquor tonight. We got a taste of that brilliance one more time.
Oh yeah, the liquor is going around, by the way.
Oh yeah. So I saw every night. Like I remember being on set when Gleib did like 9 different jokes, and it was actually like shit. Which one do you go with? And I like that one because it's just I wouldn't have written it. That's why I liked it. I would have written something dirty and put a dick in it or something. But it was so simple and logical. and adorable when he was like, why would it be real? And I wanted to live in his character's world where it's just like, why would there be a gun here? Don't be ridiculous.
Well, Kevin's announcing right now a spin-off. We're doing our own movie, so we're very excited, and I just made that
So
up, but I
excited.
believe it's true.
And if you remember, Gleib played a character that was half Jay and half Silent Bob in the audience. If you look closely, he was both. So fuck Jason Mewes. I don't even need me anymore. This is the future.
This is the guy right here.
Literally Jay and Silent Bob. I'm the only one who's literally both.
The promise finally realized.
Your dirty love child that no one talks about.
There it is. So
I think
every
sweet.
night I got to see an audience laugh at that same fucking joke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, I talked to somebody, I was like, how'd it go? And they were like, they all laughed at Gleib's joke. I was there every night when they laughed at Gleib's joke. So number one, makes me happy where I'm like, whew, like that worked. Number two, it makes me go like, fucking smart for pulling Gleib in. Number three, it makes me go like, fucking smart for going with his joke. And then number four, I'm like, fuck, man, like we all just enjoyed that experience. I was here in the room to hear that. And every city we went to, it was like that. And a collection of those moments over the course of like 90 minutes or 100, I guess it was 100 minutes, that movie, where I was bathed in just naked adoration for 25 years of shit we've been doing. Shit that like, over the course of, let's say, the last 10, 15 years, maybe people being like, fuck you and Jay and Silent Bob, because we've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Then I had the heart attack, and then because of the heart attack, I think I got away with reboot because people are like, yeah, it's obnoxious. He's licking his own asshole in this movie, but he did almost die, so let's let him have his fun. So it was the perfect little moment in time, and living with the audience, every different audience every night. There was no work, man. Like we would get up, Josh and Liv were our tour managers. We would get up, we would go drive. We didn't fly anywhere. We drove across the country like real punk rock style and shit. It was so dope. And then you'd go to a city, check into some fucking hotel, you'd shit, shower, and shave, go to the show, and 4 hours of a beautiful experience every fucking night. And almost an experience that you can count on being similar from city to city. It was never...
I'm glad that you did shower because originally you were just bathing in that laughter, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
Shitting and shaving is good for you, not for others. The shower part is a big part of it. But it was beautiful, man. And like, it's not like I miss it every day. I appreciated it every step of the way, milked it for all it was worth and stuff. But the one thing I did think at the end of the tour was like, well, this is our new model. We'll never do it in any other way.
Yeah.
I'm going to finance Clerks 3 myself next time, and then I'm going to tour it for a fucking year because I'll make more money than I would have if I made it with somebody else.
100%, yeah.
And then the world shut down. Like, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to put 1,000, 1,500 people into a space until there's like a vaccine again. Yeah. So I got a good model, but it's like now I just got to wait to go back to it. But Gleib, slide in. Gleib also had, like, he's a man who lives on the road and lives by his wits. He's a man who makes his living with his mouth. He's an oralist like myself, and he does it in comedy clubs. Comedy clubs, of course, have been shut down, recently. Gleib came up with a good idea. Tell him what you did.
So I had no comedy clubs available, no live entertainment for anybody in the world. So I thought, how do you create a comedy club that's fully virtual? You need the laughter live with you.
Yeah.
So every comedian on earth, every TV show, every late night talk show is doing no audience and it's falling flat. And I thought if you invite an audience into a video conferencing platform with you, let them laugh, trust them to laugh, and you just produce it and moderate it, you can get a live comedy club vibe as close to it as possible in your palm of your hand on your phone or in your living room on your laptop. So I created the Nowhere Comedy Club. And you can buy a ticket for $10 because that's where it is. It is nowhere,
nowhere
and everywhere all at once. And there's no location and also millions of locations around the planet. And we have people watching stand-up shows for the first time in history at the same time in New York, LA, Australia, and London, one show, or shows for different time zones. Your whole family can buy a ticket for $10 or $15 instead of buying 4 and 2 drinks and driving and get a babysitter.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's smart.
And so we just changed the game, and now we have headliners that normally are on the road, living on the road, playing our club. Sklar Brothers, Christian Finnegan, Judah Friedlander, Todd Barry, Nikki Glazer playing our club, and a lot of them plan to keep doing it as we go forward, even when society opens back up. This is a way to supplement touring. It won't replace it, but you can reach anybody in the planet. You have kids, you don't want to be on the road, you're on a movie set, you can still headline a club from your living room that night and go back to work the next morning. NowhereComedyClub.com is where we're doing it.
Wow.
I'm having a birthday show tomorrow night on Friday night for my own birthday, Ben Gleib and Friends show with a lineup of like major headliners. Turning, what do you think?
Here, let me
25?
Fuck, come on. Come on, let's be honest. I'm turning 50 in August. I gotta have you, I feel like, by at least 10 years.
Wow.
I'm gonna put you at the big 4-0.
I'm turning 42.
So I'm close. Look at you, man.
Wow.
42. 40. It's 42nd birthday. You want to celebrate with Gleib, or if you just want to go see a comedy show in your living room, which sounds like a great idea. What is it?
This Friday night.
Nowhere. What is it?
NowhereComedyClub.com. You can get the ticket. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. This Friday night. Mary Lynn Rice Cub from 24 and Mr. Show is on the show with me. Chris Porter from Netflix's Man from Kansas. Chris Bowers, Steve Hofstetter, and Mia Jackson from the Amy Schumer Tour, all on my show, and prizes for the audience this Friday. It's going to be awesome. Judah Friedlander next week, all at our club. And it's going to be real fun. Kevin thinks he might do a live podcast from there.
Totally going to do it, man.
Is it every Friday or?
The club is 7 nights a week. Almost every night we have shows. My show's just this Friday.
Okay.
But everybody, it all originated from another show I started right when lockdown began. The initial seed of doing this live audience thing was we started something called the Social Distancing Social Club. And 5 days a week, me and Steve Hofstetter and Chris Bowers host this live streaming comedy show. We have celebrity guests join us. We've had like Proops and Titus and Nikki Glazer and Alyssa Milano all join us. And people come on and we live stream, play a game with the audience. We take tips to make money for out-of-work comics for ourselves and to raise money for out-of-work comedians through the Martin Grant. And we have live audience join us on that. Anybody can buy a ticket for $10 at laughfromhome.com. Do that 5 days a week. Realize live comedy works so well. That's what spurred Nowhere Comedy Club into life.
Wow.
That's how we started doing both of those. So we're doing both constantly. The free show every day is Social Distancing Social Club, and then you want to spend 10 or 15 bucks, and you get a comedy club experience from your own home, meet and greets afterwards with your favorite comedians. It's been pretty cool.
What have you done during, you know what I'm saying? Like when he told me that story, I'm like, I felt productive, but I didn't create a whole new industry in my spare time. Like, and it's such a smart idea. Because at first when he was describing it, I'm like, well, how's that going to work? And then he was like, you hear everybody. And they monitor it so that, like, you could, if there was some asshole, he says they haven't had a problem yet, but if there was some asshole who's on their Zoom being like, fuck you, they have somebody monitoring it and they mute it. And it's like, so it's only the cream. They can get rid of all the way. They can just give you all that sweet cream, an audience that you could look at, you could see their eyes, you could see if you're connecting, and you could also hear if you're connecting. And they do something that, like, a comedy club can't do. They literally silence a person without disrupting the whole show to throw that fucker out. Like, it's ingenious. And he's right. Wow. He could keep doing it. It's not like once they open up the clubs, because some cats can't get to a fucking club. Like, some cats can't, like, you know, they're like, I live in the middle of fucking Iowa. I'm never going to be able to see, like, some of my favorite. I'm not going to see Gleib when Gleib comes to town and stuff, because Gleib's never coming in the middle of Iowa. Now Gleib could come to your fucking house.
And not to get even too heavy on you, but like we've had some incredibly touching moments. Like this one woman came to one of my VIP meet and greets after my stand-up show recently and started crying and said that her mother was in her hospital bed before she passed away of COVID-19. We were making her laugh till the very end of her life.
Oh my God.
She could never go to a comedy club at the end of her life, and she got to get laughter through what we were doing. So it has touched me beyond belief to be able to bring joy to people during one of the hardest times in human history that we all know, at least.
And that's why he's doing all this for free. So for free tickets.
5 days a week for free, laughfromhome.com. The rest you got to pay for, but just 10 or 15 bucks.
That's not bad.
That's a really good, and you pointed out before, you're like, a whole family could go for 15 bucks. You can't do that in the real world.
$50 in life to do that. It's so much.
Plus, you can't, like, let's be honest, like, let's say you got, like, an 18-year-old kid. You can't bring that kid to the bar. No. You could literally have a comedy club show in your house, and he could sit there and be laughing with his parents.
We can corrupt you.
Or she.
At any age. We can corrupt any gender, any age. We're happy to do it. That's something that we're bringing. But if I could say something else, too, and we've been doing all these things. In addition to, I'm still doing Last Week on Earth, the podcast on Kevin's Smodcast Network. Not every week lately, but as often as I can. But can I just tell you guys something about what Kevin, the kind of person Kevin is and how, like, loyal he is to people is, I first came into Kevin's life one random morning. I never told this story, I think, with you there. I've told it on some podcasts, but one morning I get a call that Kevin's shooting a pilot, something called Tonightly, a late night show that you tried to do. And I was asked to come fill in last minute on this TV taping with Seth Rogen, Arden Marine. And after the show, instead of going to the rap party, Kevin's like, you want to smoke a joint? Kevin and I smoke a joint. And I tell you my life story about how I do production and I do all these things. And Kevin's like, well, you're a production guy. What are you doing on panels like mine? You should do your own show. Invited me onto your Smoticos morning show. During the commercial break, you asked me to guest host your show at your house 3 days later. When the show's done, you say, do you want your own show on my network? That was where Last Week on Earth was born. A few months later, you and Jay Mewes hit me up and say, do you want to be one of the leads in Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie? Right. I played News Group, a supervillain in that, trying to kill these folks. Oh, no. Very gracious, let them do that. And then at the screening of that, I'd learned a big life lesson because I had never asked for things in my life. I always wanted stuff to come to me, didn't want to be imposing, but sometimes you got to at least make your desires known. Right. And we did a live Q&A before the premiere of the groovy cartoon movie. You, me, Jay, and Neil Gaiman.
Yes.
Neil grabs the mic and goes, I would never do something like this piece of filth, or whatever he said. But I love Kevin. He asked me. I said, sure. I grabbed the mic and I'm like, opposite for me. I'm an actor. Don't get a lot of work in shit. I was asked. I say yes to everything. So I'll do it. We go out back, smoke a joint before the movie starts. And you had said to me it was one of your favorite performances you'd ever seen. Greatest compliment of my life. And I said to you, took a deep breath. I was nervous to say it. And I said, I'm also, just so you know, a live action actor if you ever need. And I was so nervous. And you said, Gleib, I'm starting to realize that I thought of you more as a comedian and a podcaster, but I'm realizing it. 3-4 months later, I get an email from one of my heroes saying, I just finished the script to Clerks 3 and I wrote a part for you. Yeah. So this is, when he finds people he believes in, he's loyal beyond belief. And it's been the most, you're the guy of all the people I know in this business, been comic for 20 years, that has consistently looked out for me and tried to find work for me, and it means the world to me.
It's so weird, like, to hear someone else's perspective, like, of your relationship. I'm like, oh, that's right. Oh, like, I just thought, I was like, he's funny. I had this weird, like, come to Jesus moment with my kid today. We were doing Rich Roll's podcast, and she was talking about her boyfriend has been living with us in quarantine. This kid, Austin. Wonderful kid.
Wonderful. Seems like a little bit of a nightmare to live with, but wonderful also. Sure.
She, you know, first day of quarantine, she's like, he's going to stay with us. And I was like, all right. And suddenly we had one more person living with us. So he's great. And he's been, like, easy to live with, does his dishes. Good kid.
Wow.
And then TBS recently was like, hey, we're doing this TV show. It's called Celebrity Show Off, where we give you a camera and you got to shoot a show in your house. And it's a contest TV show. It starts next week, and people can vote you off. I'm competing against other people who made TV shows in their house and stuff. Most people turn the camera on themselves and like, I'm this fucker, and this is what I'm doing. I was like, oh shit, let's make a sitcom. Like, we'll try to do like a little. Sitcom's essentially a short film. Yeah. So I was like, let's do this thing where like this fucker's living with us now. So I said, we'll call it Sun in Lockdown, and like we'll play it like I don't like Austin and shit, and he's been foisted upon me. So we shot this thing, and it turned out great, and it was a great, fun family project, and we've shot 2 of them, and one day they'll kick us off the show, and we don't have to make any more.
It's method acting. I met him. He's very unlikable, so he didn't have much of a stretch.
No acting whatsoever. But so my kid today, we were on Rich Roll's podcast, and we're talking about like shooting the short with Austin, putting him in this like show. And Harley's like, and I was glad we got to do it out of nowhere. She's like, I'm glad we got to do it because then my dad got to hang out with him. And I said, yeah, I got to work with him. Like, he'd been in the house and I'd hung out with him. But, like, he got to see who I am. I got to see who he was. And the kid was like, yeah. She's like, and the weird thing about Dad is, like, he realized that Austin was useful. And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, well, you don't really have any friends. Everyone in your life is just useful to you. Like, this person would be good in this. This person would be. She's like, you're always casting everybody you know. And I was like, fuck you, I have friends. She's going, but you work with all your friends. And I was like, but they weren't always my workmates. I met them, they were friends, and I'm like, this motherfucker's talented. This motherfucker's useful. I'm going to put him in stuff. But she's like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, Dad. But she's like, it is noticeable. You've never noticed it? And I hadn't until she said that. And now you confirm it because I'm like, I met a cat and I was like, he's useful. I'm going to put him in shit. Like,
it's so well, you can tell it's not calculated because it's It's not always with notice either. Like Kevin texted me one morning a year and a half ago and says, hey, any chance you can get to New Orleans tonight? We got a part for you in the movie. And I said, I'll try. I put a suit in a backpack, ran to the airport, couldn't get a flight. I was literally DMing every friend from college who was in the Navy. You still have that single engine Cessna? Can I get in a plane? I said, fuck you, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. I don't have a plane anymore. I couldn't get there, couldn't make it out. And Kevin appreciated it so much that I tried that he wrote me another part in the movie, and I got to fly out and play the cameo at the end of the movie.
Wow.
It's true, man. And I appreciate the fact that you, like, he busted his ass to get to the airport. It wasn't like, oh, that ain't going to work. Like, he hit me up from the airport. He's like, I'm literally standing here. They won't give me a flight. Just know that I'm trying. And I was like, you're grinding metal, Ripley. Ease up. Everything's good.
I mean, I love Kevin so much that I'm willing to do an entire interview from this side angle where I'm sure my man boobs are absolutely on display. My own Moobies are right here.
Mine are Moobies.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're here, man.
Stomach and... I've never been like this on camera in my life, only for you.
That's why you get the jobs, though, dude,
Yeah.
because that's legit funny.
That was really funny.
I have to run. I'm too drunk right now.
Okay, we
Ben
welcome
Gleib,
you.
everybody. Give me a line one more time.
Yeah.
Why would it be real?
So genius. Perfect ad lib.
It's, you know what, it's true. People love you. People, like...
Some do.
Dude, I've had so many people, whenever I interview you, people are like, oh my God, he's my idol. He shaped my life.
Oh, my God.
You shaped mine, dude. So it's
Never let a man who spent most of his life round-shaped shape anything for you.
And here we are. It's like this is a way, like, how long is this open, by the way?
They'll do this, Derek said, like, because, they flip the theme all the time.
Like 2 months?
He feels it's good for, like, max 2 months. Because I was like, what if it sells really well? He goes, they all sell really well because it's a reservation system. Like, you can't just bomb into this joint. You got to go to Mooby's pop-up. You make a reservation. They give you a time. You show up. You can take all the pictures you want. You get your food. You can eat outside or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, it's individualized and stuff. So they'll know. Like, it's not like a normal restaurant where it's like, I wonder how many people come in today.
Yeah.
They'll know everybody who's coming in, and they sell those slots in advance so they know exactly how much to make and whatnot. So based on that, like, each time Derek's done it, it's been successful.
Wow.
Like, because they could sell this many slots. So same thing here. We started off really damn strong. Derek, you got a sec? Yeah. Come over and sing your praises. I've been singing them. You could give them some. Come and join us in the puppet theater.
Yes. He can give us more information about this.
I have told them everything about how we got here, but this is Derek, the genius behind this place.
Hey.
He did Saved by the Max. He did Pollos Hermanos. They did Good Burger. I've told them all this in advance and stuff, but this is the man. I was talking about like when I talked to Derek before at one point, I was like, what if it does really well? And he was like, it always does really well. Like, because there's a reservation system, you know how many people are coming per day and stuff. So we opened up reservations last week. How has Mooby's been doing for you?
Really well. First week is sold out. People are like really into the whole idea of placing your order in advance. So people,
Cashless, right?
Cashless, yep. You're putting your cocktails there, your merchandise, things that usually slow you down when you get here, they're doing in advance. Secondly, people are going, all right, I spent my load, then can I come and I add things when I get there when I got a second paycheck a week before? So it's really cool. And furthermore, I think people are just pumped to get out of their house, and what better than to go to Mooby's as your first meal back out, right?
Yeah, and it's you've done
So
it. The
smart.
social distancing is huge here. I mean, you
Yes.
guys are cutting down and
We
keeping
have
it safe. Yeah.
We're a real restaurant, right? So a lot of places can open like retail. We can't. We have very strict rules. Fun employee of the month right here.
The fun ploy.
Lovely. Very strict rules. Face shields, spit guards, small time limits for people. But it's all things that we're excited to do because we want the Mooby's guests to be safe, and we want our employees to be safe. So it's new. It's fucking weird, but we're for it. And we're, like I said, we're here to make it work.
Tell them about the last night of Pollos Hermanos, the guests you had.
Yeah, so the last night we were open, I get a text and it's like from our liquor distributor, and it's like Aaron Paul and Brian Cranston are gonna be there in 5 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, right. Before I could even go and tell my manager, they walked through the front door and it was like a hurricane hit this place. we had a really good time though. I gave them a bottle of mezcal, which they have their own mezcal, and I said go for it, and they did. And they went around, and Bryan Cranston went to every table and ate with every single party in here, one by one.
How classy is
my
that?
Cool. Then he went in the kitchen and cooked with our staff.
No.
Yeah, it was very fun. And much like when you come in here, the staff are all fans of Kevin, and they're fans of these people. So they're actually, they all love cooking. They're cooks and they're chefs, but it's like they're cooking for people, and they're creating, they're bringing this menu to life. It's fucking really cool, and it's special to be a part of. Like each one we do, you see the interaction. It's not just like we go concept to concept, and because a lot of them are thrown at us, and I'm like, I don't know what I would do with that. When the movies thing became conversation, it was like mind explosion. I'm sure like I was texting Kevin and the crew so much, like, look at that, we can do, and it's been a very cool collaborative between their team and them kind of giving us like a green light, like go for it, and we've had a lot of fun with it.
Tell them about Floyd, who did all your art direction.
So Floyd, who's recovering from shingles, which he got yesterday.
Such a weird. Doesn't it sound like an old person disease? But
Shingles?
Jason Mewes was like, I had him when I was 27. It comes from nerves.
Nerves. So and typically from stress. So if you're stressing out, yeah, he's got it all up the back neck. But Floyd, he was just on NBC's Making It with Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler. He is really creative. We call him a mercenary. So he does all different kinds of stuff. And he's actually known for oversized recreations of foam shit. So for Good Burger, he made a 9.5-foot burger, which went on this wall where
Oh, crap.
Quick Stop is right now. And for this, he repurposed lots of things. He does stuff really fast. And with him, I said, hey, man, I want to do casual male storefront. Can we print it? How will it work? And he's like, fucking print it. I'm going to paint it. It's going to be identical. And then we're going to do Popular Girl right next to it, and it's going to look just like this. And that's
Bye,
kind of...
Parna.
That's the fun thing of doing these pop-ups, is like bringing those things to life, doing those really cool things, and then those like special moments. Yeah.
Well, this is loaded with special moments. So let's tell people how they reserve, how they get in, and how they come in and be a part of your world.
It's very easy. moobyspopup.com. We're going to go till right now, July 31st. Reservations are filling up really fast. It's limited daily. So you hop on, you get your main entree, a side item with your ticket, and then to go crazy, get photos. You can eat on the patio, you can go, and then you upsell it. You get your merch, you get your cocktails, you get your Mooby's beer, which we just got bottled, which is an exclusive run for just this pop-up. All things great. So moobyspopup.com, and we're also selling brand new merch. If you can't make it to the pop-up, you can get it there also.
I highly recommend it. And Kevin, it's always a pleasure.
Always a damn pleasure. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for waiting.
Of course, no problem. It's always. I'm so excited to be here. Seriously, guys, you have to go. It's brilliant. If you are a fan of anything Kevin Smith, this is the place to be. So, cheers, man.
Movies.
Movies.